I'm Malcolm Van Delst. This is an excerpt from Do the Wrong Thing, which is a book series or extra long novel that opens with a woman trying to kill herself. She says, I don't know why I tried to do this. By way of explanation, tells her life story. We're about 2/3 through the series in about book 4. I've been reordering scenes, as I've said in previous meetings. Tonight we are picking up from where I left off last week after Ava's run-in with Emily's best friend and amateur hairdresser, Macy. My questions this week are the jumps between the scenes okay and logical? Do they work? 2, I've tried to show a French-Canadian accent in the dreadlocks part. Is there anything I can do to make it better? Thanks to Matthew for previous suggestions, which I've incorporated. Number 3, anything else? What's working, what's not, etc. I'm in Lascaux, the French-Canadian town across the border from Arbor, at a small, unassuming house in a neighborhood close to the late-night clubs and bars. In Lascaux, you can drink alcohol until 3 a.m., while in Arbor, things shut down at 1 a.m. Lucy is a pixie-like woman with short brown hair and a pleasant expression. Do you want to smoke some pot? She asks. No thanks, I say, surprised. I've never had a hairdresser offer me drugs, even if they are doing the work in their living room. It's true that I'm going to be here for at least 4 hours, she had warned me. Dreadlocks aren't easy, not cheap either at $50 an hour. How about the whiskey? Sure, that'd be great. Lucy smiles and runs to the back of her house. I stare at the TV where Howard the Duck plays. I'm on the glamorous side of the river, where all the nightclubs and late-night bars are, getting a hairstyle so exclusive it took me months to find someone who could do it. I'm going to pay a minimum of $200 for it. Yet the hairdresser doing it is watching Howard the Duck. Why not cut straight to the chase and watch sports? Lucy returns with my whiskey on ice. Thanks, I say. Is okay? She asks, waving a joint at me. Yeah, sure. She lights it, smokes a bit, then stubs it out. Okay, she says. Dizzy and warm from the whiskey, I look around as Lucy tugs and backcombs my hair. The product she's using is like a darker, thicker version of oatmeal, but smells, as hair products usually do, incredible. This one's flowery and dense. I can sell you some of this to take home, she says. I don't know how well these dreads will take. You may have to come back for a touch-up. I nod. She said the same thing over the phone. How much is the mud? I ask, reading the text on the small plastic pot. $10, but it will last forever. You won't use much each time. You can't buy it in stores, she adds. Sure, I say, and turn back to the beat-up television. What am I missing? Does she think the jokes about women's breasts and the fact that a cartoon duck is macking a stupidly innocent but attractive and kindly girl woman are hip? Maybe francophones don't get how bad the jokes are. Maybe something gets lost in translation. My eyes slide from the TV to a pink plastic car that would fit a toddler and a play school truck beside it over by a wall. Maybe she's straddling children in fashion, cartoons and push-up bras. I finish my whiskey. Would you like another? No, I say, I'm good. 4 hours later, on the nose, we're done. The dreads are thinner than I wanted. Thanks, I say, as I hand her my money. Even if I look more like Terence Trent D'Arby than the person in New Musical Express, no one in Arbor has hair like this, though. I'm the first. And next comes the section about Ava being in New York, which I think is fine, so I haven't, I'm going to skip that. The first thing I notice when I open the door to my apartment is that it's hot, like summer beach hot. My new roommate has moved in. No, I forgot to tell you. At the Y, where I started going to work out, a worker there told me she knew a good person if I wanted a roommate. I had mentioned to her that I might get a roommate. Why did I want a roommate? Loneliness, though I didn't tell her that part. I moved to the pink dresser into my room and cleaned up what I could of the pink paint dust on the carpet. Lenny is a handsome and well-built black man, 18. God, did I feel important when I told him that I'd be in New York when he moved in, that I'd hide his key under the mat to make himself at home and I'd see him on Monday, like some globe-trotting creative fashion designer, or maybe someone merely popular with equally popular but more successful friends that I could go visit in New York and then they'd come visit me. Along with the waves of heat come voices, cigarette smoke, and the smell of overcooked meat. I take off my shoes, hang up my coat, and carry my bags downstairs. In the living room, Lenny and 3 guys crouch around my faux marble side table. Hi, Lenny says, looking up at me. They've moved my table from its place to the left of the futon couch, found the milk crates I stored in the boiler room, and turned them over to use as chairs, along with the 2 chairs I have. Hello, I reply. They're playing cards. Down the hall, into the kitchen, I see that my lone window has been blocked with a dish towel. A layer of smoke hangs in the air near the ceiling. These are my friends. I barely hear what Lenny says as he introduces the 3 guys. One of them stands. He's young, probably just out of high school. Lenny is just out of high school, I suddenly realize. Cordoba, or is it Cordova, Corboda, smirks as he stands, hands in his pockets, hips jutting forward. He has long black hair, glossy, but not thick, and a hooked nose. Baggy jeans and a beige golf jacket. He's the kind of guy that would drive a used beige, part luxury, part sport Cordoba with a trunk full of B&E tools. It's hot, I say. Is it? Says Lenny. Yeah. I look at the thermostat. Turn it down if you want, says Lenny. I do. Well, we should go, says Cordoba. I put my bags in my room. The guys leave. Then I go to the kitchen. Another of my dish towels is lying on the counter, cradling a huge off-white and speckled swipe of congealed grease. My baking tin balances on the edge of the stove, holding more congealed grease where it tips down, slick in the middle and gritty throughout. I grab it and slam it into the sink. Lenny is going to start a company, he says. He and his friends will kill people, break limbs, and beat people up for a price. Cool, I reply, looking up from where I sit on my bed, sewing a button back onto my army pants. Lenny leans against the door frame, one well-muscled arm up over his head. We're going to call ourselves Murder Incorporated. I don't know if I believe Lenny, but even if it's true, I know how niggas with attitude started spitting rhymes to get word out about how hard it was to grow up in areas like Compton and Watts, how the police harassed Black people, how little opportunity there was for Black people beyond selling drugs and crime. It's different. It's a different, unjust world for Blacks. And if Lenny has to murder and maim to get ahead in the world, it's not his fault. It's the fault of rich white people. I'm not afraid that Lenny will murder me. The way he stands in my door frame, I could have sex with him if I wanted to. He's not going to kill someone he wants to have sex with. I won't, though. God, that would be weird, being roommates. Lenny has a girl over. They have loud sex. The next morning when I see her, she doesn't say hi, disappearing into his room for a few minutes before fleeing up the stairs. 3 weeks after he moves in, Lenny moves out. I have a picture of my youngest brother pushpinned to the wood on the rickety staircase. It reminds me that he's still out there, even if I can't see him, even if my mother has dug her claws in, favoring him now because she knows that even if she doesn't love him, I do, and that love could suck him away from her Catholic bullshit. It hurts that I can't see him. I mean, if I wanted to, I'd have to go home and endure my mother's tears and lectures, my dad's looks of disgust for the life they assume I'm living, which at this point I assume they're right. My life, my own fucking destruction. I'm sitting on the couch when I notice that something looks wrong with Christian's photo. I get up. Jesus. His eyes have been X'd out with a knife.